Welcome back to Return to Self, Episode 3, Reconditioning Inner Trust, created by myself, Dawn Appel. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize something profound. No one is coming to save you. That isn't a message of loneliness. This is one of the greatest moments of freedom you will ever experience. For many years, I searched for safety in other people. I believed that if someone loved me enough, understood me enough, approved me enough, then I would finally feel safe. What I eventually realized was this: the person I had always been waiting for was with me all along. I was my own savior. I wasn't actually looking for another person to rescue me. I was searching for the version of myself that had become buried beneath years of conditioning. Like many people, I created different versions of myself in order to survive the situations I found myself in. I became a people pleaser, an overthinker, the rescuer, the one who carried everyone else's emotions, the one who believed that peace existed somewhere outside of me. But those versions of me were never my true identity. They were intelligent survival strategies I had to create. They guided me through certain chapters of my life, and I'm grateful for those versions, though, because they carried me when I believed that I had no other choice. But then came a moment when I realized survival was no longer a healthy way of living. Returning to self was. Healing begins when you lovingly release the versions of yourself that were created through fear, and then you reconnect with the person beneath all of them by returning to yourself. This is where real freedom begins. Over the past 15 years, I have experienced significant health challenges. There were moments that I was tested physically, emotionally, and spiritually. During one of my operations, my body went through an incredible serious medical crisis. My life was in my own hands and my own mind. Yet through this experience, I kept returning to one decision. I chose to return to self. I chose to return to my breath. I chose to return to trusting in myself. I chose to return to self-love. I chose to return to the belief that healing is possible because we have full control over our DNA. That mindset became one of the greatest gifts I could offer myself throughout my recovery. The challenge was not greater than the ability of healing. I recognized what was happening. I respected and embraced the moment. I would consciously redirect my attention towards healing, one thought at a time. That is the antithesis realignment technique in action. When we recognize the experience, we understand what is being asked for us to learn. Then we redirect our awareness towards the outcome and we choose to be in a relationship with what we desire. That doesn't mean pretending the challenge doesn't exist. We are to recognize and accept it, but stay aligned with our true identity. Every day you have a choice. Invite fear or invite faith. Focus on the wound or focus on the healing. Remember yesterday or live for today. Your attention is one of the greatest investments you can ever make each day. What you focus on and think about is an energy invitation. This is why discipline is an act of self-respect. Discipline is the repeated decision to honor the life that you are creating. Confidence does not arrive because you imagine a better life. Confidence grows because you have repeatedly proven to yourself that your actions match your words. Every promise you keep with yourself strengthens your inner trust. Every promise you abandon will weaken it. Many people wonder why they feel anxious. Sometimes anxiety expands because we have quietly stopped trusting in ourselves. We told ourselves we would begin, but then we delayed, and that created inner disappointment. We told ourselves that we would rest, but we kept pushing. We repeated that we would choose ourselves, but we returned to the same old patterns that left us disconnected. Every time this happens, the relationship with ourselves becomes weaker. But the beautiful news here is we can always recover trust. One promise, one action, one day at a time. Begin with something beautifully simple each day, like 10 minutes of silence, appreciating your mirror image, a mindful walk in nature, healthy and nourishing food. Read a chapter in an inspiring book. Hold an honest conversation. Sit with gratitude before touching your phone in the morning. These are not small actions, they are messages for the person who you truly are. People often ask me, what creates a lasting transformation? The answer is daily repetition, patience, conscious box breathing, healthy thoughts, an act of self respect, and choosing kindness. CSA, which is constant state of awareness, is how the subconscious begins to learn a new way of living. It's important to recognize, accept, realign, and return to self. There will be days where those old patterns will visit. You may overthink. You may react rather than respond. You may temporarily forget everything we've talked about. But this isn't failure, since now you will be catching your feelings and embracing them. Rather than criticizing yourself, become curious and find something to compliment. Ask yourself, what triggered me? What do I believe to be real in this moment? What is my body communicating? How would my wiser true self respond? History becomes wisdom when we choose to learn from it. Self awareness transforms when experiences are growing. Shame keeps us looking backwards, but awareness keeps us in the present. Each time you return to yourself, you strengthen the relationship that matters the most, the relationship with your own mind and body, the relationship with your heart, because when you trust yourself, life no longer feels like something is happening to you, yet for you. It becomes something you consciously participate in daily. And as you may have heard me say in other episodes, true freedom is in self forgiveness. Not because every challenge has disappeared, but because you have remembered that your strength has always lived within you. So, return to self every single day. That is where your healing begins and remains.